why the lecturer has not been paid. For general election that we have been done in Kenya for around 63 years now, since we get independence, there's some pattern that we are experiencing in. Perhaps this might not be literally good for you, or you might differ with me, but that's around. When we get independence in 1963, when the colonists wanted us to rule ourselves, there's something we created, the tribal pattern. I'm sorry to this is not about the tribal, but it's about enlightening what the pattern system look like. Jomo Kenyatta was the first president. That was the priority. Jomo Kenyatta, we call him the father of the nation, of our nation. He really fight for our nation. He really struggled for us to be where we are today. But does it mean it was only Jomo Kenyatta who was the best at that time? Does it mean that it wasn't Jomo Kenyatta who was a learned friend or a learned person of the six Kapengulias? Perhaps we might not get the real answer, but that's some of the clues we want to look down. We have Jomo Kenyatta, we had the late Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, we had the likes of Matiba, James Kariuki, we have every sort of people there. Then, unfortunately, the cabinet was selected. I need you to do that research on how the cabinet was being done. How many Kikuyu was on the cabinet? How many Ruos was in the cabinet? How many Kisi was in the cabinet? How many Kambas was in the cabinet? How many Luyas were in the cabinet? Then, once we did that, we divided our groups into various tribal sectors. We had the Kikuyu speaking under Kenyatta. We had the Ruo speaking under Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. We had the Ruya speaking under Jana Wamarwa. We had the Kambas. At that time, they did not have a leader, a strong leader as per now. Then Moi was representing the Karenjin. He was selected as the deputy president when Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was not present with the current government. Now, the bridegroom has changed at that sector. So, the leadership shifted from the Ruo to the Karenjin. But the question I ask myself, in which criteria was Moi selected? Was Moi the smartest of all of the people? Does it mean we did not have a Rendire who was the best in that sector? Does it mean we did not have a Mechikenda who could be the deputy president? Does it mean we could not have a Kisi who could be a deputy president? Perhaps we do not know the criteria they used. Maybe Moi was the best. Moi was the best learned friend, was the best person who can take that, and he was the deputy president. Unfortunately, in 1978, August, the father of the nation died. Mr. Jomo Kenyatta died while in the power. And this is where the turbulence started now. We changed the focus, or we changed the president to the Rift Valley. That was automatically according to the constitution we had. Now, Moi came to power. He changed the constitution, he ruled for 24 years old. For the period of 24 years old, we had one president from one region. But Moi ruled for 24 good years until 2002. Now this is where I want us to concentrate on how the Pentagon, perhaps it's not about the Pentagon, the Rainbow was formed. You know, the coalition which took power in 2002 under Mwai Kibaki, it was called the Rainbow Party, which is called now Naki Kenya. That's how it started. Naki Kenya started in 2002. Some people did not like what Moi was doing. They who Moi chose to take over after him, Uhuru Kenyatta. I don't know whether Moi was meaning the best for our country or wanted to say thank you to Jomo Kenyatta after taking power. Because after Jomo Kenyatta died, he left the power to Moi. After he left the power to Moi, Moi now want to out of power and leave the power to the son of his leader. Then ask yourself, was Moi concentrating on making Kenya better, or giving power to the Kenyans, or giving power to who give power to him? I don't know whether Moi was seeing Kenyatta as the best president to be, whether Jomo Kenyatta wanted that once you have gone, I've gone, that power come back to me. Don't leave that alone. The NARC Kenya formed what we call the coalition, which will restore Kenya into a peaceful Kenya. They chose Kibaki as the president. Do you know where Kibaki come from? Kibaki was coming from Mount Kenya in Othaya village. Othaya is not a village, a constituency. Then Uhuru Kenyatta was coming from Kiambu. All of these people are coming from one region. The two main competitors were coming from one region. And we wanted to say, we want to safety power. Then we had a third candidate, Honorable Simeon Nyachai from Kisii. Perhaps we can say is the only competitor with the two competitors. Why am I putting that? These people put themselves in a way that they can be seen that they want to change the power. That Moi has his own candidates, and we have our own candidates. But Nyachai wanted to go the separate way. So when he wanted to go to the separate way, he wanted the support, but the political muscles were not there. He did not have that political muscles which he can gamble for religion to command him. For the record, Nyachai was only supported by around 2 counties. That's the county of Kisii and the county of Nyamira, where he came from. And then that's why I bring Trible in. Which manifestos Mwai Kibaki outshined, which outshined the manifesto of Simeon Nyachai? We did not have. Which manifesto Uhuru Kenyatta had, which did not make people to feel this is the best president to have? But from the Kenyatta time, from the Moi side, the candidate of Moi, that's Uhuru Kenyatta, and the candidate of NARC, I can say we did not have a competitor in these two sides. That's what I try to say. Why am I saying this? These are the two people coming from one region. So these two regions, they knew very well that this is our candidate. So when we want to convince these people so that they cannot be divided, we needed to divide our region first so that we look like we are divided, but we fought in one side. So that's why even Moi knew that Uhuru Kenyatta cannot win this election. He knew. So they calculated that in this side, it can look like there is competitor, but the main competitor was Simeon Nyachai. They knew if Simeon Nyachai can stand and we stand alone, some region can divide themselves, that let us go to this side. But we want to divide our region to look it's been divided. Once been divided, then it can look like that and we can be able to grab the power very easily. That's how we came up to form a coalition in which we knew that the competitor was Mwai Kibaki, the competitor was Uhuru Kenyatta, but in real sense, Uhuru was not a competitor. He was accomplice of the NARC Kenya, so that they can be fooled that they are competing. That's my take. Then the election was done. Mwai Kibaki won with a high margin, like around the high margin, I think. Now we are done. The government has changed. Moi era is done. They sang Yawezekana bila Moi. Now we added the new government. You know what happened? The promises which was happening inside the coalition did not happen. Those coalition that once we get the power, 22 CSS will be yours, 30 PSS will be yours, I will be the deputy president, I will be the prime minister, I will be this, I will be this. Those things were not honored. You know what happened? When Raila Odinga, the former prime minister, may God rest his soul in peace, he said that the previous that the Kibaki Tosa, because Raila was a very strong candidate at that time, but said Kibaki Tosa for them to have power. You know, Kibaki went on and they did not honor what they were signed as NAC. NAC splitted to two sides. Then we experienced it in 2000. It was the referendum in which the president Mwai Kibaki, the rate, rose that referendum. When he rose that referendum, it forced him to dismantle the cabinet. Everything was dismantled. Then we had the election in 2007. It was a triple election, which most people feel like Raila Odinga won the election because Raila Odinga made a coalition with the Karenjin, made the Kisi, the Luo Nyanza, and the parts of Luhya Nation. He did not make the coalition in the basis that I'm going to work for this. He did not make the coalition on the basis that I'm going to develop this, and this. But we needed to come together to grab power first before we make any changes. You know, that's why I try to say that the whole process is about tribal affiliation or the tribal way. And that's how it happened. Leave alone how it happened. So after the election was announced and Kibaki all of a sudden declared the president or from nowhere. Because it's just the election of that day at around 4 p.m. it was Raila Odinga reading, but at the morning Kibaki was declared the winner. It did really bring a lot of confusion. One of the most confusing statement was from the former IPC chair who said that I don't know where they saw this. You know, that's what broke everything. Because how can you say you don't know where the result is and it was declared the winner? That's why you find that some tribes will start fighting to each other. Kikuyu fighting Karenjin and the Kisi fighting Kikuyu and the rest of the community. That's how we end up having a post-violence election 2007 until today. Look at 2022. The Karenjin and the Mount Kenya came together, not because they wanted a good leader, but they wanted their people to be in power. Look at what's happening today. Not that people want to have a good leader in 2027, but they want to have their people in power. As young people, as young generation, we need to make a difference. But we cannot make a difference if we continue thinking like this, that my brother must be in power, my tribe must be in power, my sister must be in power. No. Just to think that how would that person make a difference in my life? How would that person create job opportunity? How would that person end impunity that we are experiencing today? But if we continue having the mentality that our people must be in power, our people must be protected, then 2027, even if President William Ruto go home and bring another person, it will be worse than the president we have currently. This is the political desk. I leave you with this. I'm your brother. Whether you are coming from Mukambani, whether you are coming from Kisi, whether you are coming from Luo, let not the political divide us in that persist. Join me next Tuesday as we make this desk continue. This is One Army, the political analysis. My name is Boniface. We meet Tuesday again.